All right, it's Wednesday. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. You are watching the 9 at Night. I'm Stephania Jimenez, and hopefully you're staying nice and warm this evening. Now, the good news is there is light at the end of the tunnel. Meteorologist Adam Caskey has tomorrow's forecast.
Another round of cold rain expected tonight, but for the most part, this is not going to be problematic. San Antonio's going to be just fine. Even up into most of Comal County, Kendall County will be just fine. Most of Bandera County as well. It's parts of the northern hill country. You get into Kerr County, Gillespie County, and Blanco County. That's where I think we'll have some additional icing on those elevated surfaces. But the surface roads on the ground should be all right. And then by 9 a.m. tomorrow, this all comes to an end and we completely dry out. So we'll have some additional rain tonight, but by and large, not problematic. By the afternoon tomorrow, we're up to 47. And by the way, tonight, I think we'll even warm a couple of degrees. So we're not going to see a freeze tonight. And then 47 tomorrow, near 60 by Friday with total sunshine this weekend, bright sunshine, and making it into the 70s by Sunday.
You heard that? No freeze tonight. All right. Well, slowly but surely, power is being restored to thousands of CPS Energy customers. Right now, about 1,700 homes and businesses are waiting for the lights and the heat to come back on. And yeah, that's a lot. But at one point, more than 40,000 homes and businesses lost power because of ice on power lines, which is something that we told you about. Now, as of this evening, many of those outages were to the homes on the north side. You know, it's just all that ice covering tree limbs or weighing down power lines. CPS crews are saying it usually takes them 1 to 3 hours to restore power, but that was way too long for one family. They said their home was so cold, they had to leave.
Pretty similar to being outside, just without the wind.
This is how we were dressed inside.
Yeah, that does not sound like fun. CPS Energy says that it trims trees year-round to prevent outages like this. Now, if you did lose power, you can report it through CPS Energy's website if you're a CPS customer. Now, if that looked bad to you, it's way worse for people up in the hill country. Homes and businesses slowly there getting their power restored this evening. About 350 Pedernales Electric Cooperative customers still didn't have power. Now, this was how it was a few hours ago in Spring Branch. Look at that. The ice so thick that it brought down trees and pulled power lines. KSAT spoke with a plumber who was cutting fallen limbs from his business, and he expects the real work to start tomorrow.
We learned our lesson at the last freeze. There's only so much you can do. So it's better to just take care of what you can and service the customers that we already have, you know.
Yeah, so now let's talk about flights. Dozens of them, as you know, were canceled or delayed at the San Antonio International Airport today. Many of them were coming from or heading to Dallas. So we saw a lot of people like that guy right there running around the airport to book alternate flights. Other people decided to just forego the flights and instead rent vehicles to drive to other airports in Texas. The car rental company Enterprise here in San Antonio said that it saw a boost in business today. We spoke with one traveler who had to get strategic.
Noticed everything was getting canceled going into and out of Dallas, which is where I'm supposed to fly out of tonight. So I rescheduled to go from here to Houston, head south, and then home.
Yeah, and that was a smart move because over in Houston, there just weren't as many flight cancellations or delays. Now, in other news, it's hard to imagine, but some people actually left their furry friends out in the cold. In this cold, Animal Care Services says that it rescued 11 dogs after they were chained up out in the cold and without shelter. But here's the thing, that was only one case. And rescue organizations say that as temperatures drop, the number of animal neglect or abuse cases usually go up. Our Jonathan Cotto has the story.
Actually, the cruelty investigators, they're constantly busy. They get cases handed to them daily.
Lieutenant Bethany Snowden says winter weather advisories drive up the number of animal cruelty cases being reported.
We have had 317 neglect cases alone.
During normal weather conditions, they respond to almost 100 calls daily.
Everybody's out in the field today to try to get as many of those calls knocked down. But on days like this, we do get overwhelmed with those numbers.
Southwest of San Antonio in Von Army, another rescue organization is also experiencing a high volume of calls this week. God's Dogs Rescue CEO says it's more than just neglect cases adding to the problem.
Always overwhelmed, and it's been worse the last year and a half.
a lot of people wanting to turn in their dogs or sending the dogs back that they've adopted from us. It's been really hard.
We're at God's Dog's primary location where they have about 180 dogs who have either been abused, abandoned, or neglected. They have over 600 dogs in their care as a rescue. God's Dog CEO says that the number of dogs who need help seems to be a problem here in Texas.
Texas is actually number 2 in the number of strays and euthanized animals in the United States. So yes, it is fairly unique to Texas.
She says there are a number of factors that contribute to this widespread problem, mainly the lack of empathy.
We do have an epidemic. It's a lack of spay and neuter and a lack of being responsible for the animals that belong to you.
Both organizations urging the community to help by either fostering or adopting. God's Dogs is currently in major need of winter items that can help keep these dogs warm. Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
In other news tonight, one woman is recovering from burns after a house fire this morning. It happened on East Dixon Avenue near Southwest Military and South Flores. Look at that smoke. A neighbor whose mother-in-law lives next door to the victim's house says that he ran to his relative's home to get her out.
Shortly after, you can see the flames just shooting straight up in the air, so it's gotten pretty bad.
Yeah, he got there just in time. Now, as for the victim, she is being treated at BAMC. The San Antonio Fire Department says the fire started from a gas stove, but it's unclear exactly what caused it. Tonight, a double murder suspect is in custody. That's 18-year-old Lazarus Esteban Carrillo. He is charged with the capital murder in the deaths of Edward Acosta Jimenez and Alyssa Nicole Perez. The two were found shot to death in a vehicle outside of Jimenez's mother's home last Friday. Now, Carrillo, who police say was Perez's ex-boyfriend, was later found with her belongings and a gun that matched the shell casings at the scene. We now know that same suspect involved with the shooting of a security guard on Blanco Road. The name, of the suspect in that case. 36-year-old Jesse Reyna was shot and killed outside of the Garden Bistro bar on Sunday after police say that he opened fire on security and severely injured a guard. Another armed guard returned fire and killed Reyna. You know, the video of him being brutally beaten by Memphis police officers has made him a household name. Today, friends, family, and supporters of Tyre Nichols came together to celebrate his life and also mourn his passing. Nichols' fatal encounter with the 5 officers who are being charged with second-degree murder is the latest case of severe police brutality in the U.S. Civil rights leaders and families of previous victims were at today's funeral. So they're smart. They're popular. You know, those little robotic vacuums that roam around the house cleaning as they go? Yes, I even have one. They're super convenient, but did you know they're more efficient than you think? 12 on your side's Marilyn Moritz tells us how to get the most out of your RoboVac.
Dan Roklowski has one of these robotic picker-uppers roaming his floors.
I have a 3-year-old and he is constantly making a mess. So yeah, having a robot vacuum is very nice for picking up after him.
Consumer Reports set up this special lab resembling a typical home. They then tested robotic vacuums to see how well they remove dirt and debris and how well they navigate obstacles like cords and carpet fringe. When it comes to getting the most from your robotic vacuum, they say start with the charging station or dock.
When you're setting up a dock, you want to ensure it's on a hard level surface without any thick carpets or rugs or uneven surfaces.
Even better, give it a 3 to 5 foot clear docking zone on each side. The open space speeds up cleaning and helps the vacuum find and return to the dock. And about that clutter.
Robotic vacuums see clutter as obstacles, so they can get trapped in clutter, or things can get stuck in the brush roll, or the robotic vac could run out of battery trying to navigate around clutter.
If you're thinking of buying a robotic vacuum, you don't have to spend a fortune. Consumer Reports recommends this one from iRobot. It did an excellent job on bare floors and pet hair. And this model from Eufy is a bargain. It got high marks for cleaning and owner satisfaction. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Hopefully that helps. We're just out of time. The 9 at Night returns tomorrow. Have a beautiful night and please stay warm. Take care of each other. We'll see you tomorrow.